What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, discussing all things games, talking about that gaming shit. And I am with my co-host Arthur Thomas. Looks like he's on vacation over there.
Summer's here, man. E3 season, even though E3 is dead,
Yeah,
E3 season is here, aka Showcase Galore.
that's right. That's right. That's right. We try to make the best of it here, and we had a slew of gaming showcases throughout the week here. It seems like from Thursday all the way through Sunday. So excited to talk about it here. Before we do, of course, if you're watching this, hello. I'd be sure to like the videos and subscribe to our podcast at G4L Podcast. That's where we've been doing these awesome Hell Divers, or Archer's been managing all the Hell Divers streams. And then just anything we stream there on the channel at G4L Podcast. So definitely appreciate if you subscribe. And here at the Gamers for Life Podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links of the time code within the description of the episode. So you can go to what showcase that you care about, or you can just hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life Podcast. And of course, we just ended watching the showcase for Xbox 2025, and then we watched the Direct 2, which had the Outerworlds 2. General impressions of the showcase. I'm gonna toss to you, Arthur. What were your thoughts on how you felt? How you felt about it?
So as usual, we start broad, then go detailed. Starting broad, I don't know. I think Xbox, as always, in like E3 fashion, who are the winners, who are the losers? Xbox was the loser. Xbox had the weakest showcase. I think Xbox had the weakest showcase. When I say weakest showcase, I'm comparing that to Sony's State of Play or whatever they fucking called it, PlayStation Conference. I'm also comparing that to Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, which I'll go into more. But yeah, we're as of half hour ago ish. Just watched the live viewing, just watched the live showcase of Xbox's showcase, and I think it was really skippable. I think Joel, your background is the only is like the major takeaway. Um, I think there was like a few things that are like, oh, that's cool, but nothing like, oh shit, like Jeff Keighley had and when he did his. Um, Again, won't get too shortly, but yeah, man. Um, a lot of games coming to Game Pass. Just unfortunate. A lot of the games are in a category of like, oh, I'll try it. I'll only try it because it's on Game Pass. Otherwise, I want to fucking spend a dime on it. No offense to those games. It's just like I don't know, just what it was. It's just and one thing broad too for me, Joe. I keep telling you, I need state. I want my State of K3. Where the fuck is it? Xbox has X. I will say this, Joe. Other than Tango Studios, sorry, Xbox that's bought a couple developers. Other than Tango Studios, I feel like Undead Labs gets the least of Xbox's attention and money. I feel like I feel like Xbox just kind of forgets about Undead Labs. Um, Undead Labs is its own studio, made State of Decay 1, great game. And then State of Decay 2, which ended up being the whole reason why I even got Game Pass, was they bought Undead Labs. So it became like a subsidiary of Xbox. Put State of K2 on Game Pass day one, and they were still supporting it. Undead Labs was still supporting a game with updates and patches and up just more content up until like I think like fall of last year when they said, "Hey, this will be the last update." We talked about this. Is October of last year. They said this will be the last update for State of K2 because we're gonna start working State of K3, and we really haven't seen anything from Xbox since, other than a cinematic like announcement trailer with hints of gameplay. And I'm sorry, but if you're gonna show a trailer with hints of gameplay, we should have more by now. And that's not me telling the undead developers to like rush it or crunch, stop seeing your family less, fucking weirdos, and make your goddamn game. It just I feel like I said, Joe, of all the studios the Xbox owns, I feel like Undead Labs gets the least of their fucking attention, and I don't like it because they make I think some of the better they made one of the better cooperative zombie games in Xbox's library. Like I said, if you guys like base building survival based games and you have not tried State of Decay 2, try it. It's really fun. And because it's partnered with Xbox, there's a lot of like guns and weapons and vehicles and skins and clothes from other Xbox titles. Like I told you, Joel, there's a muscle car in the game that's called the Megalodon, and looks like the Megalodon. Its side like panels are like the gills, and instead of a normal engine rev sound effect, it has the Megalodon's like growl and noises from Sea of Thieves one for one.
Oh, nice.
And then Steady Q2 has like melee weapons, and they have, shotguns and sniper rifles and shit, right? Well, they have like the blunderbuss shotgun from Sea of Thieves, and then they have the sniper rifle from Sea of Thieves, and then they have the cutlass sword from Sea of Thieves, and it's not just like a skin swap. No, it's like a full-fledged, full drawn out actual weapon and vehicle and stuff in the game. Um, so, like we said, Joel, coming to this, anytime you and I talk about Xbox Showcase or an Xbox preview, Arthur, what are you looking for? Stay K3, stay K3. That's just what I want. I know we got a lot of Obsidian, including they have their own like direct afterwards, which we'll get into. But overall, man, um, overall, yeah, I think it was a lackluster showcase compared to what we've seen recently.
Yeah, I definitely think that it was very underwhelming of a showcase. It doesn't mean that there wasn't like like good games that they announced, but just when it comes to a showcase, right? Like this is a lineup of games where it's like hard hitting. Like I remember, I think it was the last year, the year before, where you, me, and Church watched it, where it was just like this is the best showcase I've ever seen from Xbox. Like it was just
South of
nonstop.
Midnight, Expedition 33, pretty much like all the games that are winning awards for Xbox right now was shown during last year's showcase. South of Midnight, State of K3 got it. Well, State of K3 was kind of shown. South of Midnight, um, Doom of the Dark Ages, Expedition 33, Persona shit, which you got a little more of here, and just, a few other titles. But like I said, this time last year, we were like, God, this time last year, we went from saying, holy shit, Phil Spencer might lose his job to that showcase to being like, oh shit, Phil ain't going fucking nowhere.
Right. Yeah, it was very much solidified. Like, nah, I'm here to stay, guys, because you got some shit that is gonna be dope that you need to play. So yeah, I definitely think it was a very underwhelming showcase. There's an interesting point too that you make with State of Decay 3, just because like Double Fine, which has been very like it's a company that's been around for a long time, right, under Xbox, and they still give it its shine. It's just due, and for some reason, Undead Labs doesn't really get the same respect in that regard. Obviously, it may not be as legendary as like the Double Fine studio as far as like how old it is or just how recognized it's been throughout vast generations of Xbox. But still, like I do think that not to say that they're selling themselves short when it comes to like the promotion of State of Decay 3, but it's like, hey, what are these guys doing, right? Like the game, like at least from what they've shown so far, it's looked good. First, it was like that crazy deer that was mutated from like 20 years ago, 12 years ago, or whatever it was. Like you were living in Long Beach when we saw that reveal, right?
Dude, it feels like why the fuck does Microsoft Flight Simulator get more love than State of Decay? Because people, you can say, well, Arthur, they showed the State of Decay announcement. Yeah, but every time Microsoft Flight Simulator gets a DLC or gets a free update, it's in a fucking it's in a full-fledged showcase. State of Decay 3 has had like massive updates and content updates, DLC or free content updates for years. They have never seen a showcase. But like Flight Simulator, we have fire planes now, which is cool. But like, yeah, they're saying like, how the fuck does Flight Simulator get more love than Undead Labs?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, no, yeah. I think it's definitely warranted point. So yeah, hopefully they do release some more info. I think by the next showcase I'm not saying that they have to release something, but to me it would be very telling if they didn't. At that particular point in time, it's like, okay, we've heard the communication as far as them working on it. They're wrapping up the last few like solid updates for State of Decay 2. What's going on with this game? People are excited for it. What's the up and up? Um, yeah, I mean, I think just to go through the games that I was really excited for, and just looking forward to them coming out. I mean, obviously, just to start from what was the biggest one promoted, Outer Worlds 2. Looks really good. We watched the the direct afterwards, and it looks like they're going to be producing a pretty solid game. And some pretty funny quips too. Like I know we were laughing when we were watching the thing as far as like some like imperfection like attributes in the game where like if you're crouching and you uncrouch, you're like your knees crack. The guy's like, "Who's that?"
I was telling Jarrell, I never understood the concept of representation in gaming until there's a mechanic in Outer Worlds 2 that when you uncrouch, your knees crackle. I'm like, oh, I feel heard. Um, yeah, so Outer Worlds 2, um, to your point, my quick synopsis, Nacho, like I said, Outer Worlds 1 I describe as Fallout, but with the fat trimmed. It's a simple game, it's a shorter game. And that was like they aimed for that. They aimed to have not a 500 hour fucking experience. Yes, there's replayability, but like again, like trim the fat. Like in Fallout, oh, you're gonna not loot that broken paperclip. You're playing Fallout wrong, you fucking moron. Whereas Outer Worlds 2 is just again, you loot guns, you loot armor, and that's kind of it. Yeah, I mean, the level up system was simple, and to Outer Worlds 2 drill, I was saying, because I had a little more in depth hands on it, is it looks like they expanded upon it, which is I think the right call. Is they got a lot of people in with Outer Worlds 1 with its simplicity, and then I think a good criticism to have from your player base is saying, I want more. It's a good criticism. It's like, oh, you want more of this shit. Well, then now they have. Now they clearly have a much more drawn out character customization. They have a much more drawn out leveling up system, skill trees, subclasses, perks, flaws. That's what you and I were talking about is you can have a perk but with a flaw. So case in point, you can crouch walk faster, but when you stand up after crouch, you make a noise and people can hear it. Another example they had, it was a perk is your magazine is like what is say 50, 25% bigger.
Yeah.
But if you empty your magazine and you don't reload and you don't over reload like a lot of us fucking do, you suffer a temporary debuff. So overall, like I said, the second they showed the skill tree and like leveling up your character is like I think it's a good call. They didn't make the game complicated. That's still simple, but I think they're giving just people more what they asked for, which is like a little more fledged out game than what the first one was.
Yeah, I think for what they're adjusting, I think it's really smart, right? And obviously the if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but just refine things around it, And I'm always a big fan of that, because I feel like as a gamer, I've always have said this as far as like we never really want a redo of what we once knew, like eradicate what we knew before and a new experience. We kind of just want a better version of what we already have played. Like as a gamer, like selfishly, that's kind of what all gamers want, I mean, unless you just want the exact same thing like Nintendo. But anyway, when it comes to
Hey, did you guys like Joy-Con drift? Well, we brought that back too.
so,
Overpaying for your games, having them look like they run off an iPad, you came to the right place.
so, but yeah, I think they're making a lot of really smart decisions with Outer Worlds 2. It looks pretty good, and I'm actually glad that I watched the direct because usually I get annoyed with directs. I'm just like, I don't really want to watch this, but I thought it was well done. It was funny. The guy who voices Sonic, I think he did a good job. It wasn't like overly like corny or whatever. Because sometimes there's just that weird imbalance when it comes to game shows where it's like, oh god, they're trying to
It's
be
called
too
Lizard
funny.
Speak, Jarrell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, there's
yeah.
no, there was, yeah, it was good, but yeah.
No, yeah, no, let's just speak there.
Real quick for context, when we say we watched the direct, we watched just the Outer Worlds direct. We did not
Yes,
watch Grounded 2. We're like,
yeah.
I gotta fucking eat. Seen a bit. We can skip this shit. Deuces.
Did you want to give your thoughts on Grounded 2? I know we talked about it as we're watching the stream.
I just think it's laughable that once again the game's launching the game preview. Like to your credit, Joel, you have a working theory that's probably spot on. That the team working on Grounded is not the same team that's working on Outer Worlds 2, and it feels like it. Like no offense, get get away from this game preview bullshit. Like
Yeah,
to me, that's why Grounded fell off. Is a lot of us played the thing, played the game up until like the prologue or end of Act One, whatever you want to call it, because there was a story. Like Grounded was advertised as like a base building game, but there was a story, right? Of like, hey, you got shrunk. How'd you get shrunk? Who's the company that did it? Why is there a robot? Who made the robot? Is this company evil? And clearly that story is getting more like expanded upon in the sequel. But I was joking, Draw. I was like, man, you remember that shit was in game preview for years? And sure enough, it was like coming July, whatever, 19th on game preview. And I'm like, God
Right.
damn it.
He's like,
Like
what the fuck?
I jinxed it. I was like, man, because you were like, wow. Because the second they said the date and you're out, you're like, because there was a pause. It was like the date or like coming this summer, right? And I was like, wait, it's coming this summer? And I'm like, no, fuck, they're doing game preview again. And sure enough, I was right. They're releasing the game preview, which I'm not gonna play it because me and my friends played got into one, and I will say this: we talked about it. It does feel odd how quick they're releasing this sequel to a base building game. Because like case in point, to State of Decay 2, it's a survival base building game, and most that genre base building games get supported for years, Jarrell. Like look at DayZ. I think no, not DayZ. Um, maybe it's called DayZ, the zombie game, and then look at
Yeah.
7 Days to Die. Like these are base building games that just are still just getting expanded upon, expanded upon, expanded upon. Now, mind you, because there is a story, that's why I think they went the sequel route. But for all the players that put in hours and hours and hours and hours into their base building game, the first one to have all that scrapped kind of sucks. Like I think it should have been DLC because again, I just think it's odd to have in the base building genre a game kind of get replaced as soon as that one did. So I still feel
Yeah.
iffy about this game, and the fact it's coming, the game preview, I'm already like, I'm over it. Fuck, if it's in like the first game, Joe, it's gonna take like 2 fucking years to release. I was like,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like Xbox being greedy, maybe. As far as it's like we need to have a third game, we need to have this pushed out, and then they're segmenting the teams or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm just not, I'm not really interested in it to be honest. So and then especially with the game preview thing, great point as far as like the first game, it was like many years. And it was unfinished. It was like that scaffolding around the building that never really gets finished. So I don't really care to go back to that. To your point, some of the biggest high. Oh, actually, let me talk about some of the ones that I've been like meh about that I don't really freaking care about that much. Um, as far as for some of the biggest man for me was Call of Duty Black Ops 7. What the fuck was that? Like that was like that might be one of the worst teasers for a Call of Duty game I've ever seen. I'm like, that doesn't even look like Call of Duty. It tonally is completely off. Like I thought it was like a sequel to Split Fiction or something. like just the tone was off,
People,
completely different.
I was looking at chat. Well, you and I were watching on the Xbox YouTube channel. A lot of people are saying Quantum Break 2. And no offense, but like, no offense to Quantum Break 2. When your Call of Duty announcement trailer gives vibes of like a heavily, 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 heavily narrative driven game, and you're dropping Call of Duty where commercials used to be Seth Rogen blowing up fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's butthole with a rocket launcher, and this is where we're at now? What the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? You don't talk about those old school trailers. It was like Channing Tatum, Seth Rogen, all his celebrities just blowing each other up with rocket launchers and jets and other not
Yeah.
kill streaks to this like serious game. Like the robots are taking over, but we're the good company. But can you fight back? Like what? Like I don't know. I'm sure someone thought it was a big reveal, but the tone, you're right, Gerald. The tone of how that game was announced, I loved. It was great. It was great just watching the Xbox live chat. L's in chat. Like people are
Yeah.
like flop of like fucking flop of a release. You and I were way off, Jarrell,
Yeah,
on that reveal.
we're naming all types of games. We're like, is this?
Because we were naming like super, again, narrative driven games, like to a point, like Split Fiction, a game we like, but the game is
Oh yeah,
clearly like
love.
4/5 story. Oh, I'd say 3/5 story, 2/5 gameplay, but
Yeah,
clearly the narrative is a massive focus. and have like this they have this like celebrity unironically be the main character of your trailer. It was just taken way too seriously. Like this, like it was just taken way the fuck too seriously for a game known for racists and hackers. You know what I mean?
To me, it just seemed like someone who wrote the trailer that had no prior experience with Call of Duty games. You know, like even like Call of Duty, Black Ops, like the Cold War series and like all that stuff. Like those reveals were good. Like regardless of like how you feel about the games, like those reveals like made sense and everything. For this one, like it seems like it's completely off base from any type of Call of Duty game. I'm thinking it's just some type of sci-fi thing, and then he's touching the butterfly, and it's like a digital butterfly or whatever the case is, and then like it seems like he goes into this world, and then for some reason it's Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Like it would make more sense for it to be like a car commercial, versus a video game. The new
Is
Nissan X7, like,
is Johnny Depp about to come out to advertise cologne, or is Matthew McConaughey about to go on a narrative like thought process about the Lincoln Navigator? And
very very bad.
and something you and I immediately noticed, like we don't even play COD anymore, but you and I immediately noticed like it hasn't even been that long since Black Ops 6.
Right.
I looked up Drill. Black Ops 6 hasn't even been out for a year. It came out October of 2024.
Jesus
We
Christ.
we used to joke Call of Duty comes out every year, every year, every year. Now we're getting like only like we're getting fucking 4 months away. We're getting 7 months. Let's do some math too. 8 months worth of like playtime before another one drops. Like that's some Madden bullshit right there, dude.
Right.
And that's literal cookie cutter copy and paste reskins. Oh shit! In Madden 24, Saquon Barkley was playing for the Giants. Well, now copy and paste his jersey for green for the Eagles and change his number. Like
Yeah.
that's the only time that yearly bullshit makes sense. But like, can you imagine? Like, I don't know. Again, something you and I ask a lot is how do Call of Duty players put up with this? Where it's like you buy a game at full price, $70 now, $90 if it comes out for the fucking Switch too, and you're getting 8 months before you hear about the new one coming out, which means the game you're playing right now is about to get dropped because their sequel's coming out.
Right. Yeah, it's weird because first I was thinking I was like, well, maybe there's a reason behind like pushing all this out. I was like, does Activision own more of like the Call of Duty profits or something like that? But no, I think their contract was from when that whole fuck shit of a trial was going on, is that they have to make Call of Duty games for the next 10 years or something like that, right? So part of me was like, okay, well maybe they're just trying to really push them out every year just so once they're on their 10th year they can fucking ream some of the profits, and then they don't have to release it on everything, because I know that was the initial things. We're like, oh, you guys are a monopoly, blah blah blah. Like, no, like, we've been saying that we're going to release Call of Duty for the next 10 years, so maybe this is the reason. Like we'll have a good Call of Duty one year, a shitty Call of Duty another year, just because they're trying to get more profit in the end. But I don't know. Yeah, definitely didn't feel like a Call of Duty whatsoever. None of it made me feel like I wanted to play the shooter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just completely off base. Like I thought it would be cool if it was like psyops. Like remember psyops back in the day, right? Like if it was like the actual espionage shit, but it was like stealth based. I missed that game actually. But yeah, Call of Duty. This isn't it. This isn't it.
Even the quality of the trailer, like again,
Mm,
was shitty because
it's weird.
dude, I'm looking at the Black Ops 6 reveal trailer right now. You have fake Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, George Bush Sr., and Saddam Hussein telling you how like the world power, like everything you've been told is a lie. There is a world power. There is a organization behind the scenes. And you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And like, you know what I mean? Like even for a Call of Duty fan, like, yo, we got Bill, fucking like, oh shit, Illuminati, fucking they got the Bill, man, him playing a saxophone. And then but that still made sense because it was like kind of espionage-ish, like, the files, because that goes back to the old school Black Ops, like, what are the numbers, Mason? What do the numbers mean? You know what I mean? Like that was the whole premise of like, classic Black Ops, right? And so to go from that to like this digital butterfly breaks through the TV and fucking, it was kind of like I said, almost like an artsy fartsy. you know, like I said, people are thinking like Quantum Break because Quantum Break is like a movie-based video game, but that's not what Call of Duty is. Like, yeah, Call of Duty is known for having its actors in the game. Case in point, Gary Oldman, fucking playing an amazing role that he did in the old school Black Ops. Where like, spoiler, his character like wasn't even fucking real after he died, and you just fucking mentally blacked it out. But it wasn't like Gary Oldman coming in front of a camera and having a cologne commercial. You know what I mean? So looking back, like I said, Joe, I got on my side window here. Looking back at the Black Ops 6 reveal trailer called "The Truth Lies," and you have like you said, Bill Clinton smoking a cigarette, Margaret Thatcher apologetically having an interview, George Bush Sr. laughing in your face like, "Yeah, it's all real. Yeah, yeah." They're lying straight to your face, guys. I'm just like, and it makes you angry. You have a reaction to it. The only reaction people had to this was confused.
Right. Yeah, they're like, wait, this is Call of Duty. This. Yeah, yeah, very weird, very weird. Some other games that were announced that I didn't really care for too much. They had Animo, which they announced. Which, to be fair, it's a different lane of a population that they're marketing to, and this is not my population. It's not like the game doesn't look bad, like or it's not that the game looks bad. The game looks fine.
Is
But
that the
I'm
really
just,
cutesy? Is that the really
yeah,
cutesy kind of girly Pokemon?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, really
yeah.
pink, purpley, cutie Pokemon shit. Yeah.
Right.
Careful, Nintendo's happy with their lawsuits.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, I mean, at this point with the Switch 2, they need every penny that they can get, so they will really try to get some money out of it. Aphelion, which is the Don't Nod game with the space station lady who crashed, and now she's just all of a sudden jumping through the planet for some reason, to survive, quote unquote. It's funny because I'm a big fan of Don't Nod. They've done, I mean, all the games that they've done have been very much reminiscent of, I mean, first of all, Life is Strange was the biggest, I think, one. Jasant that they did. They did another one too that won a bunch of awards. It was like I'm making decisions, and it was like based off of like just like I don't know teens dealing with teen stuff. But I'm a sucker for the don't nod stuff. But for this one, it seemed very different. Tell me why. That was the only one I was thinking of. But this one seems very different. I mean, definitely has a narrative to it. But it's just one character that's going through a world. So one of the things that we were talking about, we were just like, it seems really boring unless there's some type of a dialogue like that's she's talking to like the husband or the friend or whatever as she's going through the earth. But I'm like, that seems very boring, especially for a don't nod game if there's no like communication or dialogue, because that's usually what they do best is really just stories and dialogue. The game and everything else is just a buffer. It's just a little thing, but like the story and dialogue is like the strongest component. So this one, I'm like, I don't know. And then I wanted you to talk about this too. The very end of the trailer was like the weirdest shit. That was like, we thought it was a different game, but it was like a completely this is the
What the
same game.
fuck was with that tone shift? You and I thought it was legitimately a different fucking game. You and I thought a new Aliens game was coming out. Like, like Alien Resurrection or some shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Aliens franchise. Because remember, Aliens has a show called Aliens Earth coming out that a really good trailer.
Oh
And
yeah.
then also Romulus 2 got confirmed.
Nice.
So aliens are coming up in the world of pop culture.
Yeah.
So we thought like, oh shit, it's just a quick reveal that like a new Alien game. And turns out it's the same game. So it's like I think you and I were called it, Drell, that like I think when they play test the trailer, they're like, yeah, this is fucking boring. Sorry. And then like, oh shit, what if quick, we have a monster in the game. We gotta show we have a monster. And it was such a tonal shift. One, it was a different character.
Yeah.
So apparently there's more than one character. We didn't know that from the fucking first 90% of the trailer. We're
Right.
like, oh, there's more than one character. And then two, there's like this monster,
Hmm.
which wasn't even hinted at all in the first game. The first game was like you're just escaping a dilapidated ship. Looked like that was
Yeah.
the
First
entire
part of the
trailer.
trailer.
The
Yeah.
whole trailer was like you're trying to get from one end of the ship to the other, and the ship just it keeps breaking off. So it was just like a platformer. It was a pretty platformer of the game, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then like I said, we're like, oh shit, new Aliens game. We're like, what the fuck? That's the same game. So I think, Drill, like I said, I think, no offense, I think they play tested it, and I was
Mhm.
like, people are not going to be interested in this. Quick, fuck, do something to show them we have a monster in the game.
Because it was all yeah. Because like you know how like sometimes for some trailers they'll have like a slightly different tone shift of a thing, but it's like a DLC or it's a pre-order bonus, right? So it's like oh pre-order bonus of this if you do this. Like that's what I thought that was. I was like oh like maybe it's some type of an alien collaboration thing like DLC if you pre-order it. But nope, it's just last clip. It's
Which
like
makes
oh
me think,
okay
Drill, if like how predominant that alien monster will be in the game, if it wasn't featured at all in your clear main part of the trailer. So to your point, they're really known for their narrative stuff, so I don't know what this game's going to be about now. Is it gonna be
yeah
like a teen coming of age, or is it gonna be like an alien isolation, which I don't think it is, because like I said, if that part of the game was so pertinent and so important to the gameplay and the experience, it would have been in what was clearly meant to be the main standalone trailer.
right right. One of the games too that I didn't care for. And it's funny because first we thought it was something else. Like we thought it was fear. We're like, oh shit, it's fear coming back, you know? And like, nope, just scary stuff.
I'm mixed because it doesn't look bad,
yeah.
but
Chronos
when
New
you
Dawn is what we're referring to. Yeah.
what's it
Good.
called?
Chronos the New Dawn.
Yeah, so Kronos, when they showed the orphanage, when they were like, the orphans are loose, you're like, you're just murdering kids? Oh shit.
yeah.
Um, so they're showing like clearly a horror action based game. And when you got to like a hospital portion of the orphanage, there was like, like a hospital bed, I immediately thought Fear. Because that was a big segment in Fear 3, is when you get to like the origin of like, of Alma's upbringing, you're like, oh shit. So I thought Fear was coming back, but then it's not. So it doesn't look bad. For me, it's not in the bad category, but you're right, it's in the middle ground where I'm like, maybe it's not coming to Game Pass. But
Yeah.
it just kind of sucks because it gives you hope for all those IPs we keep not seeing.
Yeah. You know, I'm a little worried about this one, Arthur. You remember that one game that looked a lot like Dead Space, but it wasn't Dead Space? And then by the time
The
it came
game, the
out,
game, the game that's in the bargain bin everywhere, Calypso Protocol.
yes. This I hope this does not turn into another Calypso protocol because I can absolutely see this becoming another Calypso protocol where
Yeah,
it's you know what I mean? And it's funny because like you said, the game doesn't look bad. Like the animations are really dope. It's really eerie. You know, they you know, and then this one because I remember one of the things to your point from the last trailer, you were just like, yeah, this seems like really slow, like, you know, but this one I mean, they threw all the shit at you, right? You know, they threw all the action and stuff at you to keep you entertained. But this one, it just, I don't know. It gives me Calypso Protocol vibes. I'm like, man, like, will this be able to have a solid story or something to keep us through? I feel like at this point, it's almost like Dead Space was just a point in time where it released, people really liked those type of games, and you know, they weren't flops because Calypso was like you said, bargain bin everywhere you go. It's like on a Steam sale every time, you know. So yeah, I don't know. A little worried about it.
I'm hopeful because some new horror games have been good. Remember, Drill? There was that one game, I think it was called Medium, where when we watch it, we're like Silent Hill, Silent Hill, Silent Hill. Because remember, they kept showing like a normal world and underworld, normal world, underworld. We're like, oh shit,
That's
new
right.
Silent Hill. And then what happened? That game was successful. We haven't seen a trailer yet, but Medium 2 has been greenlit. Medium 2 was greenlit. So like you're right, it could be a medium type of game that gets so good that's gonna get its own sequel. Or you're right, it could be Eclipse or Protocol. I think Black Ops may have, back to linking two things. I think Black Ops 6 may have the Calypso Protocol thing where they focus so much on like, look, we have a named actor. Look, we have a named actor. We have a named actor. We have an actor. We have an actor. Bitch, we played Zelda games for years where his only line was, yeah, yeah. So we don't give a shit.
Right.
Like what,
Like
like,
Isaac, we didn't even know what he looked like. We just knew he had a
yeah.
cool suit on. Yeah. Yeah.
He would like Doom guy. It's just a dude. Yeah, he took his helmet off in the new one, and that's the latest one. Spoiler: takes his helmet off, and he takes his helmet off. But like, we don't. It's not like Black Ops 6 and Clips of Protocol. No one's like, "Whoa, is that Josh Duhamel? I can't wait to play the game because of Josh Duhamel." Sorry, spoiler to the fan base. That actor that played the Clips of Protocol, he's mainly known for his female fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You cast him enough in a Hallmark, romantic movies. Every dude is like, hey, isn't that guy from that one thing? Ah, okay. Well, is the game good? We immediately don't give a shit. So I think, like I said, I think Clips or Protocol focus too much on like having a big movie star in the game when, like I said, when we're used to playing Cult of the Lamb. Is a fucking sheep, dude. We don't care. like what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, when we play Goat Simulator, it's like, well, who's gonna be the main character in Goat Simulator? It's a goat. Yeah, I mean, we don't care.
Right.
So that's why I think Clips of Protocol had their focus in the wrong direction. But to your point, we'll see where this one ends up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like, but before I go to the next game, it's just like I'm really tired of these games that have a really dope narrative and all this stuff, but like the endings are bad. I'm like, what happened to writing like a middle, like a beginning, middle, and end, and all three parts are good. Like, and this is just kind of a narrative throughout like gaming. I feel like from a storyline perspective,
Yeah,
a lot of games have terrible endings, and it's just really weird. It's like, what? Like, come on, guys! Like, what
South
the
of
fuck are we
Midnight.
doing? Yeah, it's just like what is the problem? Why can't we make a good ending to a fucking game? We used to do that. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I don't know. So I'm hoping it does well, obviously, but I'm a little worried about that one. I feel like it might get Calypso Protocol, disease. So the next,
What's next?
so one game that we were both like, nobody asked for this. Like, we know this is going to fail, like sadly, but I don't see anyone really asking for this. Is Invincible versus that they announced?
Yeah,
Like,
I told
why?
you, Drill. I'm not a fan of IP cash grabs. Like, I'm sorry. I know there's a huge fan base for like anime games, but like I said, Drill, I'm not a fan of these flash in the pan. Hey, this anime is really popular next year. Case in point, Soul Leveling is on the list. Soul Leveling Arise had a game now, on top of like the 30 fucking mobile games about it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I can't mentally separate these flash in a pan. Hey, this IP is really popular. Let's make a game about it. Hey, this IP is it's like I said, these anime, like this is in the same category as these anime based games where it's like, hey, this one anime is really popular. Um, let's make a game on that right now. Hey, this anime is really popular. Let's make a game on there now. To me, those are in the same boat as like Call of Duties that come out every year, because they kind of are. You know, what I mean, it's like a yearly. Hey, what anime is popular right now? Make a game on it. What anime is popular right now? Make a game on it. And the thing, Joe, like, no offense, but like, I think these fighting games are. I think the fighting game Invincible was the worst thing. Was the worst like choice for it. At least with these like RPG style games, like the One Piece game, you at least get you're expanding the lore. You get dialogue.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gotten it. Like here's an example, Drill. It's not in the same category, but it's an IP, right? Like the South Park games, like South Park Stick of Truth and South Park Fractured Butthole was like an expanse on the lore. You know what I mean? It was like one giant episode, so you're at least getting entertained as if you were watching the show. But this is just like a fighting game. The Invincible versus game is a fighting game no one fucking asked for.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's once again, it just seems like whoever developed this or created this or the head of this like has no connection to the game whatsoever or to the story and the show or whatsoever. It's just another one of those, and we can clearly pick these out. You know what I mean? Like, not just because we've been playing games for like over 30 years. It's just because it's clearly noted, like, even from this tonal perspective, like, no one said, like, man, I wish there was an Invincible versus game. Like, this is clearly an IP cash grab. And the more you release these, the more people won't play them and the faster they will fail. Like, people are very vocal and just, like, they'll just keep their wallets in their pockets, like, at that point. So it's just, yeah, it's because like for me, from a fighting perspective, I'm looking forward to Injustice 3 because like I'm a huge
Yes,
fan of that series. I think that the fighting has always been great, obviously just because it's by the NetherRealms.
story was great,
Story was great. Story was underrated almost in my mind, and
100%.
obviously they made a bunch of fucking graphic novel series over it that I
Yep.
I tend to watch on Comic Historian. Rest in peace to that guy
Yeah,
too, by the
man.
way. Jeez.
I knew you were going with that too.
Yeah, yeah,
Comic story. And
yeah.
and here's the thing, Joe. Let's call it what it is. There's a genre of games called the gotcha games, which is like, hey, hey, pay for this bikini skin. They are what they are. Cool. This genre of game should just be called gimmick. It's a gimmick game. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Like one of the other games that's a letdown, I think, is the solo leveling. I love the soul. I read the soul leveling books, and I read the and I'm up to speed with the solo leveling anime. I'm not gonna pay a fucking dime for the game. It's a gimmick game. Like I said, it's like
solo leveling. Yeah,
a flash. It's a flash in the pan. I'm not saying it's a flash in the pan how long it's gonna be popular, but with anime, spoiler, you get one season. 3 years later, you get season two. Um, but
yeah,
yeah,
very weird.
I was gonna say I think this genre just should just be called the gimmick genre.
Mm,
That's all it is to me. It's a gimmick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird for the solo leveling. Unfortunately, I don't have any connection to it as far as like the series and all that stuff. But I mean, just watching it, I was like, it looks fine, but it doesn't make me want to play it on the console or their handheld, which I do want to talk about as well. But um, yeah, yeah, and I think that was really the last thing that I was like, oh no, 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 we have to talk about this, Arthur. We have to shit on this. Um, Gone fishing, Fallout
Oh,
76.
we were having a good chat, Drill. I was in a good mood. I'm reminiscing about games that look okay and not horrible. And you had to fucking remind me, Drill, that 2025, Xbox trying to compete with PlayStation, who they're now partners with and customers, is now saying the biggest update to hit a Fallout game ever is fishing.
I can't believe they added this in the
We had
showcase.
we had an entire segment in a showcase about fishing. Like a segment, like mind you, like when fishing comes, like when fishing came to like first off, here's how you know Fall Saints. They didn't know from the start. They didn't know what Fall Saints 6 should be. Because if they wanted it to be an MMO from the start, basic MMO bullshit, you have fishing. Oh, hey guys, this is Xbox. This is Bethesda, a game that every Sony customer should laugh on for the foreseeable future. Because what's their new biggest flex? Oh, you guys got rid of loading screens? No, but we now have fishing. And that was legit a whole segment in the showcase. Like
Right, the countdown was all of that. We're like, okay,
we
this is kind of a
joined,
weird countdown.
dude. Case in point, yeah, exactly, Joel. Case in point, we joined the Xbox's YouTube channel early because there's always like a pre-show. Like the 10 minutes leading up to the pre-show, we didn't know how long it was. It could have been half an hour, but at least 10 minutes of the pre-show was just Fallout 76 characters fishing. So, which is it? Is it unimportant enough to be a little, like I said, gimmick of just having two NPCs fish for a pre-show, or is it worthy of a showcase? Spoiler: it's fucking not. It had no business to be there.
Right.
I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed at Bethesda trying to justify this game's existence to all the fans that say that no, it's still good. It's still good. My brother in Christ, you're celebrating fishing in a it's like, God damn it! Like I hate this game. Like it's a dumpster
Yeah.
fire. I love the chat for being chat. We were watching it. Flop out 76 it was just like, and
Nice.
people are like, really fishing? This is because like maybe if there's an update to fishing, like for example, Monster Hunter has like updates to it where like now there's new things you could catch, now there's new armor, new foods, new things you can do. That's one thing, but to just say like, oh, now you can just do it and take up a whole showcase. Well, God damn, I'm getting pissed off, Drill. You're telling me I got more. You're telling me I now know more about Fallout 76 than State of Decay 3. God damn it, dude.
Yeah, I think they're completely tone deaf on this. I think Xbox is trying to do, I think they thought it would be a moment where people would laugh. They'd be like, "Oh, this is funny. Oh, well, maybe I'll play it in '76." I really feel like that was their whole like plan as far as like, we'll have this fishing thing, and people would be like, "Oh, like what's this fishing thing? Like this is kind of funny, whatever to have in there," and like, "Oh wow, it's a real thing in '76." When in reality, people are like, why are you wasting our time with this? Like that, like what the fuck? Like we aren't like, I don't even play 76 already, and you're gonna bother me with this bullshit about fishing. So to me, I feel like this is like the perfect segment that describes the entire showcase in some fashion, as far as just like what? Like you thought it was going to be this really interesting, great idea, and it just turned out not to be. You know, so yeah, I know this is one where it definitely creates boils the blood, but I did have to mention it.
The majority of Xbox customers are mad at Fallout 76 people for keeping Xbox shit.
Yeah,
Like you're the
yeah.
reason we can't improve because you're telling Xbox, oh, Fallout 76 is a good game. We should play it. Fuck you, dude. Like, hey, Drill. Do you want to know what makes a Fallout game experience fun? Paying real money to have a bigger stash.
Right, right.
Fuck off, Todd Howard.
Yeah. So going to the things that we liked, or at least I'll talk about the things that I
Thank
that I
God.
liked.
Sorry. It's just I every
That's why I wanted to start with like the stuff that
it's
were just like fuck off, you know.
it's like it's become an unintentional tradition to drill that I just get pissed off every time Fallout 76 continues to have the audacity to be at Xbox Showcase.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That you're definitely not alone in that. I'm sure a lot of people are just like, "What the fuck? What?" You know, they had to deal with that experience. You saved me from it. You're like, "Don't play it." I was like, "All right, cool."
Hey, draw this free game that's on Game Pass. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's
Yeah,
it's it's
because I'm like, oh, because there was a point where like our account, like you synced up your account with mine. I was like, oh, you sure? I mean, it's in the. And you're like, just don't. I'm like, all right.
Hey, Joe, that free game I gave you, don't touch it.
Don't waste your time. I was like, all right. I was like, all right, bet, you know. Um, so one of the biggest reveals that was an actual reveal and like in the traditional sense of things, and this was rumored for a long time, you know, and there was some like leaks actually of like a dirtier version of this. This is funny, like Destin on his channel, YouTube channel, he was seeing some of like the replicas, but they were like dirty for some reason. He's like, why are these dirty? So what we're referring to is the ROG Xbox Ally. So that is their official handheld. And you know what? Just to have a side note, Arthur, I'm kind of happy about handhelds coming back. Like, I mean, we were talking about Xbox handheld what ifs for tens of years almost. You know, like, hey, what if they did this? Like, we know they don't need to because their catalog is fire. But like, what if they decided to do this? And obviously, you know, Xbox Game Pass kind of paved the way for it to make more sense for them to go within their model. But the Xbox ROG Xbox Ally, you know, it looks really clean. I mean, especially the black version. But as far as the design of it, you know, it looks even more comfortable than the ROG Ally. I have the ROG Ally. Um, I have it in white. I don't have the Ally X, but I have the OG one, and it looks like they're keeping a little bit of the same styles with the ROG Ally, but they're just making it better. So, for example, the handles, huge plus. Huge plus because the one issue I have with the ROG Ally is that it's more of a gamepad, like Steam Deck type of design for the ROG Ally, and it's kind of heavy. Like if you're facing it down, it's okay, but if you're facing it up, like you're laying down on a couch, like it can be kind of heavy. So sometimes, like I use like the kickstand I have attached to mine to sit on my stomach as I play, you know. But this one, it's in a handle for it has the handles to them, so I think it looks really comfortable. The speakers are solid. The ROG Ally to me has the best speakers on a handheld. Um, and I mean they're very very good. They're very loud too, and they're clear. So to have that with Xbox titles, I think that's a win as well. I definitely would say get some thumb grips on this thing because the thumbsticks are just not they're just not it. Like handheld thumbsticks generally to me always have problems. Just throughout history. I mean, besides like you know maybe like the old school Game Boys or some shit, but like when there was actually I don't even think there was a sticks on that. So yeah, this to me just historically analog sticks on a handheld always have issues. So get thumb grips. This is my reason my point. But yeah, it seems like they're going with a lot of the what the RG Ally has, but it's with new stuff. My biggest concern with it, I'm curious to see the price. I think the price is going to be more than an Xbox Series X.
I'm on their site right now. It's not announced just yet.
Okay, it's to be announced. So my theory is that it's going to be more than a Series X. Another theory is I am hoping that the battery life is more than the Switch 2. But the
It
Switch 2 is like 2 to 4 hours, I think, right now.
It's
on
funny you say
average?
that. I'm on their site right now. It does not say battery life, but it
Mm,
does say 80 watt versus 60 watt.
okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would equate to because when it comes to the ROG Ally, and I think with some of the other handhelds as well, you have to put it into like a turbo mode. So like when you're doing like the fucking like a laptop or something like that when you're playing, you have to set it to a performance mode, and the battery, it pushing the power actually complements with the actual CPU. I know it's a lot of jargon I'm talking, so I apologize in advance. But basically, it's going to push the performance of it. But because it pushes the performance of it, it's going to run hotter. You're probably going to hear it a little more, and then most importantly, the battery life will deplete more. So if you can get 3 solid hours, like to be realistic, 3 solid hours with a high performing game, I think it's a win. I think it's a win. So if they can do that successfully, then that's great. But yeah, the battery life and then the storage as well. What's the storage look like? Because
I
they
can tell
are.
you, I can tell you right now. Okay, so
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
there's the Ally X, which
Uh
is the
huh.
black one as an Xbox.
Yeah.
There's the regular white Ally.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm almost gonna go off the whole specs.
Yeah.
Okay, processor. The Ally X, more powerful one, has a AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor. Regular Ally, again, AMD Ryzen Z2A processor, so not the AI one. Memory in terms of processing power, 24 gigabytes of RAM on the Ally X, 16 gigabytes of RAM on the regular Ally. Storage, Ally X, 1 terabyte, 512 gigabytes for the Ally. Both have
Hmm.
SSD for easier upgrade. Display for both is the same. 7 inch
Okay.
FHD, which I think means full HD, 1080p, 120 hertz. Um, I don't know the difference, but the looks like the Ally X has more ports.
Oh,
They
okay.
they both have a 3.5 millimeter jack for wired headsets.
Cool. TRS. Nice.
Here's a word that PlayStation didn't put in theirs. They both have Bluetooth. They both have Wi-Fi 6E. Dimensions, one weighs slightly heavier. Battery, like I said, the Ally X has 80 watts per hour. I assume WH means watts per hour or just watts, whatever.
Hmm.
Ally has 60. And then they both have a charger stand.
Okay. Yeah.
This might be
I.
a small thing,
Yeah.
but the Ally X may take longer to charge. This is really specific in the nitty gritty, only because Ally X has a larger battery, but they both have a 65-watt charger. So I don't know specifics how batteries work or if there's no lithium works. I'm just saying if you have a bigger tank of gas, if one car has a larger tank than a smaller car, it's going to take longer to fill up the larger tank of gas, right? I don't know if that's how electricity works, but to me that's what makes sense in my head. A
Yeah.
Ford F-150 might take longer to fill up than a fucking Prius.
Right. No, no, yeah, I think that's warranted. And I think that makes sense too. I think it is good that they're both the same size from a screen perspective because typically, like smartphones, it's like, oh, you want the 6.5 version, but then like it's a bigger battery that it needs because it's
Uh,
more screen, but this one's
and,
the same, right?
and I got a few more wins for this too, Drell. The site lets you do a 360 view right now,
Uh
and
huh.
it looks sick.
Yeah.
There's vents on it, which look cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not used
Got
to
to.
seeing vents. I'm not used to seeing vents on a handheld. Um, I don't know if there's grips in the back, Drell, or if there's a hint of like a pro controller. It could be grips,
I
but
hope
on the
there's grips.
but no, but I don't know. I'm gonna send you a screenshot in chat.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my little squiggle circle, and you tell me if I'm looking at grips or like an extra button. But I'm gonna keep bringing through while you look
Yeah.
at that. Also, Drell, for purchase, Nintendo Switch. You can buy Nintendo Switch games only. Xbox. Um. Oh, I just saw it. I just saw it. I just saw it. I just saw it. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Here you go. Here you go. Quote, access supported games anywhere you go from Xbox and other PC game storefronts. So this is literally not just an Xbox machine. This is again, you can it sounds like other PC storefronts means Epic Game Store, so you can get free Epic Games, possibly. The Steam storefront. So again, and remember they said Drell in even remember Drell, they said even their own thing, they kind of drew shade at themselves by saying it's not a Microsoft storefront. Remember that? It's not a Microsoft, what did I say? It's not a Microsoft operating system. You remember that? Yeah. So I put in chat here, Drell,
Yeah.
at the 360 view. Can you tell me if I'm looking at two more buttons as if it's
Yes.
a Pro controller or these are just grips?
No, those are two additional buttons. Those are also on the ROG Allies, the Windows PC handheld. So yeah, those are two buttons definitely. I was so that's kind of cool too as far as mapping those out. I'm hoping that it feels like an Xbox like One Series X controller. Because if it feels like that, like from the grip perspectives, like on the back, like the texture, if it feels like that holding that, then that's like an absolute win as well. Because one of the things about the ROG Ally is that it felt kind of sharp feeling on the side. This is before this design, and a lot of people bought cases to go over or covers or whatnot, so it can feel a little better as you're using it. So I'm hoping when you're holding this, that the grips are very similar, the handles are very similar to the Xbox One Series XS controllers, because I think that would be a really solid performance, just feeling and whatnot.
To
Um,
address that, Drell, like,
mhm,
one thing on their site, like all the talking points they have and
yeah,
pictures, is they have a picture of the LB and the LT, left bumper, left trigger. Quote, inspired by Xbox controls, enjoy Xbox features like iconic ABXY buttons and familiar contoured grips.
nice, nice,
So that we could be totally wrong, but like, at least for now, taking face value, they and looking at it more, it does look like they did try to have it feel like just a wide, like a fatter Duke
yeah,
Xbox um Xbox controller. I'm looking at their buttons. It looks like they have the start button. They don't call it start. It's like the three lines. They have the select, which is no longer select. It's like the menu button. And then they have like other buttons, it looks like, to manage your home screen.
yeah,
Like I said, like the library or things like that. Um, we know day one games are going to be anything on Game Pass, including Silk Song. That was a big moment for a lot of people that are waited for Silk Song. As you look in the background of all the images on their site, it's all just shit from um, the Game Pass library. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Blueprints, Spyro, Forza, Metaphor, Refund Zero, Balacho, Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2, Savage Planet, 33 Immortals, CTR Racing, Crash Team Racing, Expedition 33. So it looks like in terms of like this isn't like a separate handheld, like let's say like the Vita was, right? Vita was its own entity. Therefore, Vita had to have day one PS Vita exclusives. This is not that. This is letting you play Xbox games now, truly anywhere, without playing on your phone or a separate ROG Ally or NVIDIA or let's say Steam Deck. So again, so in terms of like what's available day one, pretty much 1,000 plus games that's on Game Pass. Also, Drell, during the conference, here's a topic you and I had. We kept debating because we were confused. In terms of marketing, we are confused of what's the difference of Play Anywhere and cloud gaming. And where you and I kind of settled on that, Drell, seems to be accurate. It seems to be
mhm,
accurate, where the
mhm,
phrase cloud gaming means you can stream it wherever you are as long as you have a good internet connection. Play Anywhere means, hey, if there's an indie game that was released just for Xbox consoles day one, and there was no PC port, that means that game drill will not be a play everywhere category because it was not built for, let's say, mouse and keyboard. It was not maybe built for this handheld extra button thing. So that's a big difference we saw throughout this conference. Cloud gaming means you can stream it without downloading like this game off their
right,
website versus play everywhere means you can download it and it's not just a PC. Because remember this time 4 years ago, Drill, was when Xbox really merged into Microsoft. Remember, it was no longer Xbox gaming, it became Microsoft gaming. So this time 4 years ago, we were like, oh, look at this game coming to Game Pass. Fuck, Dark Tide's only coming to PC. Look at this
Right.
game coming to Game Pass. Fuck, this game's only coming to PC. Now those days are kind of gone. And more we're getting Play Anywhere. And Play Anywhere literally means, hey, if you're a PC customer watching this showcase, you can play that game. If you're an Xbox owner watching this game, you can play the game. Or if you're neither and you're a handheld person with a Steam Deck or this ROG Ally, X or regular, if you see the Play Anywhere, you can play that game. And the separation of Play Anywhere and uh, cloud gaming is you have to have Game Pass for the cloud. Meaning, if you want to stream your game and not download another 100 GB fucking game, you need to have Game Pass to use that feature. But it sounds like you don't understandably don't have to have Game Pass to play this. You don't even have to play off the like I said, you don't even have to buy these games off the Xbox store. You can just literally say, "No, I want to pay this full price off the Steam store and have it supported with any Steam supported mods and work from there." So that's kind of
Right.
the larger benefit to this compared to like fucking Switch 2.
Yeah, yeah, no, there's way more freedom on this, right? There's way more freedom on this as far as for when it comes to different storefronts that you want to go to. I think the only last thing I wanted to say about this is I'm a little disappointed that there isn't a 2 terabyte version. Um, you know what I mean? Because I feel like the storage takes up a lot of space, and I know with the original ROG Ally, you can like they actually encourage people like, hey, if you want to upgrade the storage, you can do that. There's a whole process to do it for the Windows one, but you can upgrade the storage to 2 terabyte. I'm actually considering doing that on my ROG Ally, but for this, for this console or handheld, I was really looking forward to seeing a 2 terabyte, so it's maybe it's possible that you can upgrade it, but
They say it is. So
okay.
to your point, yes, it does suck. There's no 2 TB launch with the
Hmm.
future where games are going. There's just no compression or compartmentalizing gaming. I forget the exact term, but they both say, Jarrell, SSD quote for easier upgrade.
Okay.
And then for comparison, I understand the very, very understandable thought of like, fuck, why can we get 2 TB? I will say, at least for consistency or the outside looking in, I'm on the Asus store front, and even there, like up until now, featured console or featured handheld, even that caps at 512 GB, 512 So, um, so I think it's like I said, so I know it just sucks we're not at a 2 TB handheld yet, but it is give or take roughly double than their last model right now. If people want to get specific about it, like what type of material the screen's made out of, I think it's what they call it, Gorilla Glass. Yeah, Gorilla Glass. And to your point, Drell, earlier about the controls, I'm looking at the ROG Ally storefront now, the Asus. ROG Ally is brought to you by Asus. Not sponsored, just accurate. Who the fuck makes it? You're
Right.
right. The ROG Allies in current production are very square, almost like a Neo Geo or like a Game Boy turned sideways. So you're right. It is very hard on the hands, very cornered. But no, I think for comfort level, Drell, this is a big upgrade. This is a big upgrade because it actually is like a controller. It's like it reminds me of like what the backbone is for cell phone adapters to play games, but this is more legitimate first party.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think this is a win, man. And then definitely I would say, you know, buy a 2 terabyte SD now that's compatible with this because those prices are going to go up on it. Um, obviously look for one that's going to be compatible with it. As far as like a preferred brand was what I mean. I know there's a specific size of that SSD that it needs, but do that and then just hold on to it. So by the time you get your whichever one you choose, obviously I recommend the LAX because that RAM will make a difference over time. I think when it comes to especially with the new games and stuff that they release, I think it's just going to make more sense. But
I
Yeah.
have a question for you.
What's that?
If the ROG Ally X gets sold at GameStops, will you trade in your ROG Ally to upgrade to the Ally X?
Ooh. That's a really good question. I don't know. Well, you know what's funny? The beauty of this ROG Ally X, you're not just buying like a console. You're literally buying a computer,
You're
right?
buying it 24 gigabytes of RAM is no joke, dude.
Like I have Ableton Live 12 on my ROG Ally, like the full version that you can use to make a studio album. I have that on my ROG Ally. Like I have Machine 2.0 on there. I have mad like hardcore programs on my ROG Ally. So like I use mine more for music production than I do for fucking games. Like that's how powerful it is, and this is even more powerful because it's that AI
Z2.
Z2 Extreme. Like that's a serious fucking like APU. Um so yeah, it's I would consider it. I would consider it, but I would obviously get a 2 terabyte SSD to upgrade, and hopefully that process to upgrade it is, I mean, it's Windows, so probably be the same process as the ROG Ally, but I would consider it. Depends, I guess, how much that they would charge, but it's something that I would potentially consider. Yeah, because those handles, I mean, that would just change up everything, right? And I think it's USB 4 port, if you don't mind checking, because USB
I think
4
3.
is it 3?
I'm checking right now. You talk about you talk about the type of
The type of
okay.
USB-C port it has on there.
Oh, USB 4 Type C. Sorry.
Yeah. So and that is like the fastest.
Yep.
Like that is the you can technically use like an external GPU to
Yeah.
power with it.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah. You technically, yeah, it
Um,
needs to USB C4, but
one
yeah, it'll charge fast. So
dude, this time next year, man, my birthday falls around Black Friday. I might cash in that GameStop credit I got
there you
from
go.
training in my Xbox for 420 on 420.
Do it.
Um, because that's a new thing, Joe. Like like where I live now, I got that balcony life. And do with the like I said with the weather out here, you're like, hey Arthur, hey Arthur, so I'm a little bit the gaming. I'll be on in a bit doing uncle duties. I'm like, I sent a picture to you. I'm like, bro, there's a storm outside. I'm just chilling, man. I'm just chilling, enjoying the rain and listening to music. And now if I can play my ROG Ally on my balcony and just enjoy the weather and go outside and get vitamin D without, exercising like, a fucking normal functioning human being. Hey, that's like I look forward to that. I look forward to that, dude. Especially Jarrell, if I can play, can you imagine? Oh, you know me, how I love weird weather. I would love to play games on my balcony during a blizzard. I would love to. I would just love to be out there in my jeans, socks, maybe a blanket. Maybe
Yeah.
but maybe like, an outdoors blanket like you take to a picnic or something camping.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be crazy to like play like State AK3 or some shit on my balcony during a fucking blizzard. You know I'll be getting pic. You know I'll be sending you pictures like, "Hey Jarrell, hashtag vibes."
Yeah, man. Definitely that would be a fire thing, most definitely. Um so some games that I was really excited for, that I saw that I was like, okay, that looks really interesting. First one, I gotta say, Clockwork Revolution. That one really surprised me because I know they initially
Yep.
released the first trailer to it, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. But this one, they dove more so into some of the mechanics of the game, the customizations, more of an understanding of the story. I think as far as sort of character introductions, character creation, it really feels like they went into a lot of detail into some of these characters and gameplay. I mean, hopefully, so I don't know if they specified if some of it was like PC gameplay or whatever, or Xbox gameplay, but that shit looks really nice, really, really nice and clean. Yeah, I really like the voice acting. I enjoyed that. The mechanics are crazy. I definitely want you to talk about the mechanics as far as like the weapons and stuff. But yeah, everything that I saw, I was like, this looks really good. Like first, I was like, all right, looks whatever. But really getting to see like like just like how the game is, um, and these different characters and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is officially on my radar. Like to me, this is like this is like the biggest game that I was really excited to that I'm really excited to check it out. Um, yeah, man. So that's one that I'm a big fan of this guy.
Let's just get right into it. This is the biggest game at their conference.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, they showed
yeah,
Ninja Gaiden 4. Yeah, they showed other stuff I already forget. This was the biggest game at their conference. I know Outerworlds 2 had its own like direct. I know Grounded 2 had its own Obsidian direct. This was their biggest win. Like, you and I were talking about how I think it's really smart how they showed how character creation, like thematically and narratively, affects the game. Because to this day, we all know the meme of like how you start creating your character in Skyrim. You know what I mean? The opening to Skyrim is just that, like, hey, you're finally awake. You know what I mean? And that leads into the character customization. You're a prisoner. You and I talk about how in Path of Exile 2 had a really cool character creator start of the game moment where you create your character and everyone's being hung. It's every character class was a character at the noose.
right,
And then, spoiler, it's the opening of the game. But when you choose the character you pick, everyone gets hanged except for you, and you drop, and it plays into that.
right,
And then in this game, it's like they're looking for a thief, and there's all these wanted posters. It's like you're creating your character through that, where it's like the NPC telling the cop that who stole from them. It's like they're describing what you're creating. So it's like if you
right.
create a tall person, like, no, they're kind of tall, and you move the slider down the short. Actually, no, officer, they were short. And it's like that's pretty fucking cool because, like I said,
Mm,
where like I said, Drell, there's a lot of games that are shown that don't look bad, but like didn't stand out enough, especially in the world of like his character creation. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is like Skyrim, where it's one of those games where people can spend hours creating your character. Or even if you don't spend hours creating your character, it's still memorable. Yeah, I mean, like I didn't spend hours making my Path of Exile 2 character, but it's still memorable. It's still a unique thing. And for them to have that as showcase, I think for what this game is, I think that was really cool for them to show and let the players know, like, hey, this isn't just a quote unquote BioShock action style game, which we thought it was up until that point, but now we know, no, this is an RPG that just has BioShock level of action, which is a hell of a selling point. And this was really big for me, Drill, because I play a lot of RPGs, and I hate that other RPGs don't do this, where you pick a dialogue option, and it's in quotes as if you fucking say it, but then your character doesn't say what you picked. And you're like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna be sarcastic. Like I wanted to say no, go left. Oh, well, why don't you go left, idiot? Whoa, whoa, why are we insulting? I didn't know my choice was an insult to person. And this game, there are a ton of mechanics we can talk from, but when this game is, I think it's a huge win in the RPG genre. When you see a game and you see them pick, like, you know, Alexander went left, and when you pick it, your character says verbatim what you picked. Alexander went left. And that's a small detail, but like I said, for fans of that genre, the RPGs, that you don't really think of it when it's there, but you absolutely notice it when it's not. Like I said, it's really hard. I can't mentally list off all the games that did this, but guess what, Jarrell? I can list off the games that don't. You see what I'm saying? And so the more this game went on, you and I were trying to pin, like almost like put it in a box, like compartmentalize what this game is. And the fact we couldn't, or the box, quote unquote, kept expanding of what type of game this is, it was so good to see. Like we thought, like we said, we thought this would be a BioShock game, and you're like, whoa, 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 this has this level of character customization. I don't think this is like a regular BioShock, action-based game. I think this is like a I think we have a full-fledged RPG, people. And then sure enough, you see the dialogue options. You see characters that look like they may be party members, like that one robotics person that was like arrested with you, that looks like you plan escape together. Either they'll be a companion or at least a compatriot in the story. That's clearly also story based. It's not like a game where like shoot robots and it's not like Doom, but with this isn't a Doom game with steampunk copying in front of it. It's like I said, it's just I think Draw Modern Memory, our first full-fledged out steampunk RPG. And I love seeing that because this isn't one for one apples to apples, but Joe, Dead Island, the first one, I know a lot of people skip over it, but at the time, yeah, we've seen RPGs, yeah, we've seen zombie games, but I had really never played an open world zombie RPG. You know what I mean? And like so, like yeah, we've seen RPGs, yeah, we've seen steampunk games, but I really can't think of a time where we've seen like a true steampunk RPG. Now, I can't say to what degree it's a true RPG because Jarrell, one looking back, correct me if I'm wrong, one thing we did not see was like skill trees. So I think instead of having like skill trees, maybe it's more like loot based, you know what I mean? Or like you don't get more powerful, you don't get like you don't get more powerful at doing ice damage. You might just find a more damaging ice weapon. Um, but other really cool elements of this game drill is the aesthetics. Holy shit. You and I were like hooked in every time an enemy was shown and the every time a character was shown. And then Dro, when they showed that gun customization,
Yeah, we're
ooh,
like,
that looked
whoa.
clean.
We're like,
That
that
looked
looks great.
clean. When you're like customizing your revolver and then your rifle, the barrel, the clip, the butt of the gun was like changing, and it's like really simple things, you know what I mean? Where it's like, well, yeah, we'll follow the dot, yours will go, but it didn't look that fucking polished. It didn't look that crisp, and because it's metal drill, when they tilted the gun, it shined in the light. Oh my God. I can't think of the last time I'd seen any like weapon customization screen or menu or feature that looked that fucking polished. Like literal, that was
Yeah.
polished ass clean metal.
Right. Yeah, the attention to detail on this was pretty crazy. It was like, whoa, like the gears and shit within the pistols and all that stuff. I'm like,
All the cogs,
what?
all the
Yeah,
cogs,
cogs,
the
yeah.
clock, the grenade has an old school analog gear clock on it. That was
Crazy.
fucking sick. And then out of nowhere, you know, after showing us all this gameplay, because like I said, this game is the epitome of show more, say less. Like you and I kept talking about, like, I get it, they have to do it for corporate reasons. Like, no offense, like Sarah Bond introduced the show, and other people like Matt Booty and Phil Spencer came on. I get
Yeah.
it, it's an Xbox showcase, but no offense, but like every time they came on and they told me like it's been 30 years, I'm like, put in a fucking trailer. Like I'm here to see the game. I'm not
Yeah.
here to see like no one has a fucking bingo or no one's excited to be like, what's Phil Spencer going to say? No, we're excited what Phil Spencer is going to show. And in the future, if this game has like a dev direct, I hope they do. But at least for the reveal we got, or like not the reveal was not the reveal. The trailer we got for this game, like I said, hands down, this was the best game of the showcase.
Yeah. Yeah.
The aesthetics are amazing. The attention to detail, all like I said, all the like I said, the steampunk elements, like I said, all the cogs and gears and motors and polished metal with the automatons or like the like not animatronics, but you know what I mean, like which makes me think you know like the old school Disney animatronics, you know, Chuck E. Cheese doing the robot, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, this game, dude, this game's sick, dude. Like I said, this was the biggest win of it. Um, I can't
It,
wait for this game to come out.
I agree, man. No, I agree with every point you made there. You know, you really saw the DNA of this, like as far as like the personality of the game and like showing like just kind of all the work they put into it, the attention to detail. You know, obviously we're gonna see a lot more, but just from this trailer, I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I get why I need to pay attention to this. You know, so very excited, very excited. I want to jump across towards just some other games that I liked seeing, and then I want to go to the ones that you liked seeing. Um, so we can close up shop here. But um, so one of the games where I was like, I'll take a chance is the Blood of Dawnwalker, the vampire one. Kind of reminds me of like a Witcher type thing. but I kind of, the story seems kind of interesting. Dark fantasy role playing saga. I'm like, okay, all right. Let's see let's see how it develops, what it evolves to. So this is coming out next year. But definitely, I'm like, okay, I'll take a chance. That seems pretty good. Um, High and Life 2 looks cool. I still need to watch. I still need to play the first one actually. But this one seems like it's a little more action oriented. The graphics look really good. I mean, I don't know if it's just does the cinematics, everything that I saw, which is probably what it was, but looked really good. You know what I mean? So
In a positive way, it almost looks like a different game.
yeah. Oh yeah. I agree. I agree. It seems like it's a little bit different of an edge to it. Definitely a different game, most definitely. One game I was like, okay, I'll take a chance on that too. Is the Mudang, Mudang Two Hearts. Looks like that'll be up for Series XS.
The Korean sci-fi zombie game.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, okay. So I was like, that one that seems pretty interesting. I like the close quarters combat that it has in the third person view and like kind of like up like to your like like your shoulder back like behind your shoulder up view. I was like, that's kind of dope. I'm kind of with that. So I'm curious to see how that is, but definitely seems different. And I'm up for it for real, to check it out. Um, some other ones, The Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy. That one seemed pretty cool. A lot of people were trying to figure out what the fuck the game was in like the stream chat. They were like, Assassin's Creed?
Because it
Assassin's
took
Creed, right?
because it was in Rome. Yeah, I thought it was Assassin's Creed at some point. I thought it was a remake of one of the Assassin's Creed games. Um, when they showed the Colosseum or Colosseum-esque setting, chat thought, like I said, I was in the, like so we were watching Xbox Live, the Xbox YouTube channel. A lot of people in chat thought it was Rise 2. Um, but nope. This is a Requiem not side story. What's the word? Spinoff. It's a spinoff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Another one that kind of had like a interesting, like, kind of kooky type of thing to it was that there are no ghosts at the Grand. Um, that like or it takes place in like the English hotel, but there seems to be a lot of like reggae Jamaican type influence within it as well, which is kind of interesting. Definitely some comedic type stuff with it. Also, kind of a supernatural, fun, twisty type game. So that one very interesting. I'm curious to see how well that does because it seems so unique and specific and like towards a very specific type of populace. I'm curious to see how well it does. Kind of reminds me of like a South of Midnight, where it's like this story is very specific to this thing. Are you marketing towards anybody specific? Mainly just people who like a good story, So I'm curious to see how this does. But definitely, put a smile on my face. It's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Open to it. And I think one of the last things that I was like, all right, not too bad. The Beast of Reincarnation. Basically like the a Black Myth Wukong style game. I just gave it points just because like graphically it looks crazy, but in today's standards we don't know like what the fuck does that mean? Is this actually Xbox footage? Like who fucking knows? Um,
Made by Game Freak.
hmm, hmm.
I was like, I thought they were legally contracted to only live in Nintendo's basement and go nowhere else. Pokemon's basement and do nothing else.
Yeah, yeah. So that one looks interesting. But yeah, that's about it for me, man. Were there any other ones that stuck out to you during the showcase?
No, actually, there were a few, but like I said, Clockwork Revolution by far the biggest thing. Um, the fact too, Xbox definitely reminded people Game Pass ain't going nowhere. Holy shit, Game Pass was all over the
Right.
place. It's really specific. I don't like the new logo. Remember how it used to say Xbox Game Pass as if it was like a console? It's really specific, but now it's just like that white, bland, almost looks like a mobile button of like come into Game Pass. I'm
Oh
like
yeah, 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 yeah. It is kind of, it's kind
it
of
looks
weird.
it looks boring.
It's like a
It's
parental advisory sticker or something.
yeah. Yeah, it looks like a parental advisory sticker.
Mm.
It's really specific, but it just reminds me how like a lot of companies are just simplifying their logos to look like basic bitch shit. And I was just like, I don't know. It was hard to because it was hard to notice. It was so bland. We didn't notice until the second trailer. Oh, is this even coming to Game Pass? Oh, there's a little logo down there. Yeah.
Right.
It literally looks like a mobile game ad. Because you know, when you picture a mobile game ad, what happens in the game? Happens in the ad. In the bottom left, there's like pictures of can download on the Android store, Google store, iOS store, Mac store, whatever. It looked like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
dude.
it's weird. Otherwise, like I said, by the way, Gerald, speaking of the biggest win, Clockwork Revolution is coming to Game Pass, but remember that has no date. The line was in due time.
Okay. Dang it. So yeah, looks like we gotta wait for that one. Yeah, 'cause they didn't even say next year, huh? They just said it's coming out soon. Damn.
Quote in due time.
Oh
We even
boy.
know next year. Shit could be 2027. You don't know.
I hope we don't have a Redfall situation, bro. I hope like
No,
my heart would
no.
be broken in pieces if that was the
I would
case.
be well. Damn, I saw the Redfall. There was kind of literal writings on the wall
Mm,
when the Redfall gameplay trailer. Remember, they kept looking of like, wow, look at the sunset. The sunset's really pretty. Wow, look at these flowers. These flowers are really pretty. Show me your fucking gameplay. But that's not.
yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how my thoughts were on the showcase. I guess just I know Summer Game Fest was out before or was right before this. Within I guess the order of when these showcases released this past week. Um, I feel like there's only two things really I want to comment on for the Summer Game Fest. I'm sure you probably have much more, but to me the biggest weird part of the show, and I feel like I have to comment it because it's based on my boy Hideo Kojima, but his not the trailer, but the segment of the cinematic of Death Stranding 2 that he released for that game for the showcase. I don't understand why he chose that because to me, after the end of it, to me it did make anybody want to play the game anymore based on that little cinematic with like that main guy and like his therapist or whatever, and like then at the end it's like, oh, like you don't remember me and all this stuff. And I was like, because like I guess he's like really proud of that scene, and I'm like, well, maybe within context of everything else that like it'll make more sense, like or like we kind of feel a little bit of what he's feeling. But for that, everybody else was like, well, thanks for showing that. I mean, why show that versus anything else? Because in retrospect, Death Stranding 2 is supposed to be a lot more action based than the first game. It's not just like, deliver the package, So, Death Stranding 2, there's like, you're shooting shit for real, like a lot more. So, so that was kind of weird. That's kind of weird, but I mean, I still want to play the game. I'm still excited to play the game, but I just thought that was a weird thing to show during Summer Game Fest for Jeff Keighley. To me, the biggest game where I was like, what the fuck? This looks crazy was Mortal Shell 2. And I don't really have a connection to the first Mortal Shell or what it's supposed to be. But to me, it seems like that trailer, it made it seem like it was like Doom Dark Ages and Dark Souls mixed up like in one. And like, it looks fucking crazy. Like I was like, whoa! Like the music was crazy. The animations, like killing those people, like yeah, it was like God of War and Doom and Dark Souls mixed together. And I was like, that's pretty cool, actually. So I'm very curious about that one. I don't know if I should play the first one, but I'm very excited about that. That was the one where I was like, okay, you have my attention.
You should
So
definitely play the second one. I'm watching the video now, at least for that. Sorry. I'm real quick. I have the Mortal Shell because I missed a lot of the Summer Game Fest. I did my best to catch up. Um, what are those scooters called? Rascals? Dude, that boss that's on a powered rascal is like, what the fuck? So I don't know if you're talking about, it shows a boss fight in the game.
mm,
You're like literally fighting, this kind of older, ghoulish looking lady
yeah,
on a steampunk powered fucking, wheelchair, and just like that's some crazy. Hey, when we talk about character design and originality, I've never seen a steampunk powered wheelchair boss in Dark Souls. Step it up from software. Come on.
Yeah, so that's wild. Was there anything in the Summer Game Fest where you're like, "Fuck, that's crazy," that you remember?
Um, other than the big crescendo,
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
not that I can think of offhand. I'm sure when I watched it, I was like, oh, I'm sure when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's crazy. But like
Yeah.
we just, I have a bad memory. This happens. I don't take notes. I didn't watch it live.
Yeah.
Um,
I know the big shit, the big shit announcement, Resident Evil, the next Resident Evil.
9.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're going back because Drill, I've been kind of talking about this Resident Evil wise for a year. Like lore wise, you're telling me in a game, the United States nuked its own city, and we've never fucking addressed it. Yeah, I mean, like the United States again to a point would be having like a celebratory "we got Bin Laden" moment when Wesker died. You know what I mean? That's just real shit. If like the company that was responsible for a nuking of a town was fucking killed in a volcano in Resident Evil 5. Um, yeah, I mean, it just just should be addressed.
Right.
And I will say too, what made the big crescendo even better was all the fake outs Capcom had. Because remember, Capcom had two fake outs. They're like, first of all, they get the voice actress for the Tality in Resident Evil 8 to come out, or Resident Evil 7.
Oh shit. I wasn't even
Or,
aware. I wasn't aware that they're fake outs. That's crazy.
well, remember, because they were like saying, like, and now here's a new message from, the director of fucking Resident Evil. And he was like, we'll keep you posted next time we're working on something new. Like, literally just like a fake out. And then they had another Resident Evil moment but it was just announcing a Capcom sale. But then, so they literally told you in the show drill, we'll let you know when we start working on something new. And then they did big reveal at the end that Jeff Keighley was giddy for. Like we kept it a secret, no one knows about it. Boom, Resident Evil Requiem.
Crazy.
Um, I will say as a whole, of all the big showcases, Xbox, PlayStation, Summer Game Fests, um, Future Game Show. Future Game Show is just kind of like remember it's like a giant like indie. It's like all the things indie. Um, dude, props to Jeff Keighley, man. He had the best showcase, bar none. Bar none.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that announcement was just like what? Like that brought it back to old school, like game show shit. You
They
know.
were like when if you're to play bingo, and remember they hit all the marks, Joe. There is even shadow drops. Remember, even though everyone's playing Elden Ring Night Rain, there was a shadow drop for Liza P DLC that was like out now. And then even the indie games they showed look sick. That stop motion cooperative game looks so good. It's not claymation, but it's stop motion. Um, that game looks so good, man. I'm gonna look at it right now. Stop motion game summer game fest. We're doing it live. Um, out of worlds. No, out of words. Out of words. Out of words. Out of words was like that stop motion Coraline style game. Um, they had a bunch, dude. And like I said, overall, even though like clearly Resident Evil 9 was the biggest reveal I think of the whole weekend. Like this whole weekend, Resident Evil 9. Like sorry Xbox,
Right.
sorry PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation announced James Bond is coming. Which is funny because I was like, yo, Jarrell, Xbox Indiana Jones. Um, PlayStation now has Indiana Jones because it came to PlayStation and James Bond. What's funny, Jarrell, is even though Xbox's Indiana Jones went to PlayStation, PlayStation's James Bond game is not coming to Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, it might be a later date, but that
Yeah.
their Xbox logo was not on their fucking showcase. Um,
Interesting. Yeah,
so
because I thought I watched the trailer on YouTube and it was on the Xbox channel, so it was just like, huh. I was like, all right, because yeah, I remember on the PlayStation State of Play too. That's how that's
yeah,
when I saw it
it
again on
might be
there.
coming later, but at least in that announcement, it wasn't detailed.
Yeah, definitely not the
At
same
least when I
time.
watched it on mute while doing shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Props to Jeff Keighley, man. Like I said, he had the best. This was his
yeah,
best one yet. I
yeah.
I
It was
love that more
solid.
and more companies. I love that more and more companies are having reveals at his events, whether it's the Summer Game Fest or Game of the Year awards.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right, man. I mean, he's a behemoth in the space. You know, I mean, it's hard to hate on, just where he's where he is now. One game that I thought that I didn't know it did well enough to do a sequel is Atomic Heart.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart 2. I was like, wait, this game did well enough to do a sequel because it got like sevens across the board and sixes in some cases too. So I was like,
Atomic
the
Heart was
fuck?
like a good game that people wanted to be better. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
wow, this game sucks. It was more like,
yeah,
ah, I want it to be so good.
yeah,
And when you have that craving, you gotta, you gotta itch it. You know what I mean? You gotta make the game, and they did. So Atomic
yeah,
Heart 2, I'll say this, Joe. Atomic Heart 2 looks way more fast paced than the first one.
yeah.
The
Which I'm
grapple
excited
hook,
for.
the wall running and shit. Um, yeah, there's a lot, man.
Because the gameplay
Um,
was fun. The game, like, I remember
yeah.
playing the first Atomic Heart, and I was just annoyed with my main character. It's like my main character is an idiot. I was like, how does he not know
I
that he's
remember
been
you
set
saying,
up?
I remember you saying how you hated the main character and that you
Yeah,
predicted the villain from like the very first like act in the first scene.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like, I think I'm playing the same character in the. I think we're playing the same character in the second one. But the gameplay is really fun, and like graphically, it was like really nice too. So I mean, I'm happy for them that they're making another one. I was like, okay, cool. And then it's interesting this Atomic Heart, this the Cube, which is like the multiplayer, version of Atomic Heart or in the Atomic Heart world. Curious to see how that's gonna go. That could go either way, obviously. Um, I'm open to trying it out, but I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. So
Dying Light, Dying Light Beast looked good.
hmm
Um, First Ascendant, you gotta love their fan service. Mecha Break, we got more information from Mecha Break. Remember that was the game shown at Xbox Showcase a couple years ago, where you, Church, and I were all like, damn, it was like a bunch of mechs fighting each other. We're like, fuck, they're like, it was kind of like an
oh
Overwatch, but
yeah,
it was kind of like an Overwatch, but for mechs. They're getting an update. And they had another announcement there. Splitgate 2. I love when Jeff Keighley has like those mic drop clip moments. And the developers of Splitgate 2 just pretty much came out and just threw shade at fucking Call of Duty, which is funny enough, Jarrell, because they said, I miss when Call of Duty didn't come out every year. And little to their fucking knowledge, one of the biggest letdowns of the Xbox
ah,
Showcase was the Call of Duty reveal. So it's just funny how they said so back to the split gate dev was like, I miss when shooters were fun. I miss playing when Halo was good. I miss when Call of Duty wasn't coming out every year. I miss when I was hopeful for Titanfall 3. And they were like, fuck it, we're gonna stand on business. What everyone knows what we're saying is true. Let's go. So I love when Jeff Keighley gets those clippable moments that happens at his show, like the classic scene of the Split Fiction guy, the It Takes Two guy, um, fuck the Oscars. I want to be here, moment. And I'm glad that happened there, when Splitgate 2 had their moment. Um, Other big announcements was in I think Scott Pilgrim getting a brand new beat 'em up game is sick. Um, uh, what else is there? Oh yeah, Drill. Uh, I would not have had on my bingo card a Wu-Tang game.
oh yeah, yeah,
Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver.
right, yeah, that's pretty
It's
wild.
it's really funny because I was watching like someone react to it. You could tell when someone's younger or doesn't know the genre, and they were just like listing off because for all of us when they were like showing like just saying the names of who's missing, you know, fucking they're nasties, Ghostface Killer. We're like, oh, what the fuck? And the person's like, oh, okay, what is this? Who are these guys? I was like, I'm not mad. You're young. It's fine. I'm sure there was some TikToker missing. I'll be like, who the fuck is that? And some child will be
Right,
losing their mind of like, this is so skibbity. Um, but
that's
uh,
hilarious.
uh,
So stupid.
yeah, Cyberpunk came to Switch too.
Yep.
There's another entry in the Yakuza world via Stranger Than Heaven, and then of course, yeah, like say Resident Evil Requiem, which
Right.
I think is gonna be, I think it's gonna be massive, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we're coming back to Raccoon City. I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited too, man. Do we want to briefly talk about the state of play? That was earlier this week, I know.
I skipped
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I will say this, Drill. I did like that. I did like that I saw the word PlayStation Premium or PlayStation Plus more and more and more. That was good. I'm getting my money's worth. Um, I thought it was gonna be like another year or two, Drill, until PlayStation started supporting day one PlayStation Premium games. So I think that was a big deal. It's not like, their biggest games. Like it's not James Bond. It's not, like let's say if God of War gets announced, the newest God of War will not be on PlayStation Premium. I get
right.
that. But if you really think how Xbox Game Pass came up in the world, PlayStation is still doing the formula that Xbox had. What was Xbox Game Pass day one? A Halo and Gears of War machine. That's all it was. Just do you want to play other Gears of War? You want to play every Halo? That's Game Pass. Also, here's a handful of indie games. What's PlayStation doing? Here's all your PlayStation exclusives here's all your PlayStation exclusives. Ratchet and Clank, the first God of War, the original God of War, PlayStation 2 classics, all this stuff. So I now like I said, so I think that, understandably they're years behind, but PlayStation Plus Premium is following the formula that worked for Game Pass. And so do I think we'll get to a day where actually PlayStation Premium will be a one-to-one competitor with Game Pass? I think eventually, yes. I think within less than 5 years, absolutely true. Will it be like 2 years from now? No. But the fact that again, Game Pass was just here's your old school titles and just this. What's PlayStation Premium? It was just their old school titles and just that. Then they brought in the indies. Then they brought in the third parties. Now, okay, this game that came out 4 years ago, now it's on the title. Now it's in the library. And now we're seeing more and more, slowly, more and more small to medium third party size games, not really first party, being day one PlayStation Premium catalog. Um, like I said, maybe like in 5 years, it might be close to a one-to-one competitor, at least for price. I think we're far off, but I'm just saying I like what I'm seeing. And I do like they are following the same formula and steps that Game Pass took.
Yeah, I like seeing their progression as well when it comes to all of this. You know what's funny? Because originally, in the beginning of this, I was saying how I may consider getting a trading in my. I mean, fuck it, I might get both. I might pull church and get both. But I really want to see what PlayStation's handheld will be now. Obviously, right? Because they've been in the handheld space for a long time. They took the break. Obviously, they released the Portal, which people didn't know what it was. So now I'm wondering, given that Xbox threw their cards on the table, I'm really curious to see what Sony does for their handheld because in reality, like we've talked about this time and time again. Sony originally, they're a hardware company, and Microsoft is a software company, they're just so the fact that they are known for hardware originally, and they've known for handhelds previously, I'm curious to see what they present from a handheld perspective that is supposed to be a handheld and not like a remote portal thing for what it'll evolve into. And I think we should see something probably not this year. I'm guessing we're not going to see it this year, but definitely next year. I think next year we're going to see something as far as for that next PlayStation handheld because I hear that they're working on one as well. Um, and I'm curious to see if it'll be just as powerful, maybe a little less powerful than the PS5, but close. Um, but because it's Sony, I think it will be proprietary, like the Switch. That's the only downside. I think Xbox will have the one with the most freedom. Nintendo will do whatever the fuck it does. They'll probably release another version because the one they're releasing now is going to be broken by then. But Sony will.
Nintendo Switch 2.5 with 5% left, with 5% less Joy-Con drift.
we we put the system inside of a box instead of GameStop members stapling a receipt to the box, which inherently goes through the LCD screen. I'm like,
Dibs,
Jesus
dude,
Christ.
Jarrell, just know if that happened to us, where you were the one that closed the day before,
We'd be, oh
and
my
and I
God.
and I had to be the one to open the store, I would have got close to calling you and being like, "You fucking owe me, dude." Like I would have texted you the second I had a mental break, be like,
Oh
"Hey,
man.
bro, you know those boxes you fucking stapled? They went through the fucking console. I'm spending all my day dealing with returns and calling the manager. You fucking owe me. Like I would have been
Oh
pissed if you would have been the one to
man.
box those up and sell and then but I get all the fucking blowback from it during the return shift. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you would have got a you would have
bro.
heard you would have fucking heard that from me, dude.
Well, it's crazy because I would imagine for that store, they're going to eat the cost of that defectiveness, right? Because that's something an employee did. So when they ship that to the store or back to the warehouse, like they're going to get fucked. They're going to get dinged on it. Whoever did that is probably on a first and final, if not gone, which is crazy. So like,
Yeah, no, that's a first and final.
yeah, like that's ridiculous. Like that's crazy, you know. So yeah, they're absolutely going to be reprimanded for that. But before we close out, I know you said you had something you wanted to share before we close out.
Something that's slowly becoming a semi-new tradition with us, Joe. The last topic of every show. Putting in chat, it's been announced. Game
Oh shit!
Informers, if we knew Game Informer came back, but their details of their magazine was TBA, and now we have the information,
Oh, we got
Drill.
the
We have
information.
the cost, we have the perks, we have all the details. So as of right now, you can subscribe to be you can pay to be now a subscriber of Game Informer magazine or digital. So I'm on the red site now. Print and digital is 48 for the year. Normally it's 70, but they're having like a special. By doing the print and digital, you get the print magazine, which is 10 issues a year, so it's not every month, Drill. It's I don't know how they're going to do it. Could be like every other month. I don't know, but it's 10 issues per year. You also get the digital magazine. Remember, 48 for the year. Normally 70 gets you print plus digital. So you get the print magazine, 10 issues per year. Digital magazine. You also get the special edition Game of the Year 10th issue,
Ooh,
which is not included, Drell, in the digital one,
right.
which makes me think, Drell, that's gonna then be the old school Game Informer of real shit. Like, dude, we talked about this. Old school Game Informer covers, you used to be able to cut out and put as a poster, and it would still look so good.
100%.
Like
100%.
their covers, especially the special like unfoldable ones that was like a double cover. Those like their covers like I'm still mad I didn't do like so remember like I said one of our old coworkers she took every time a Batman game came out, like Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Oranges, oranges. That's good for citrus, you know. I am the citrus. Batman Arkham Origins, and then Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Um, she cut out she took out all the covers and made a poster out of it, and it looked so fucking good, dude. Um, so again, the print plus digital, you get the special edition Game of the Year 10th issue. You don't get that if you do the digital only. And that's the only difference as of right now. So everything I'm listing, once again, print, don't get it for print if you do digital. You get the digital magazine, but like I said, all these features I'm going to keep rattling off. Digital customers, which cost $32 a year, which I'll get into in a minute, doesn't get this. So keep going on to it. Exclusive web features, which I'm guessing part of their site or like interviews or something would only be to subscribers, which I get. A lot of other people did that too. I mentioned how like I watch Quarter. How I mentioned how I watch Quarter Digital, which has a YouTube channel. Same thing. They have a site where like a chunk of their site's only accessible to like subscribers. Hey, it pays the bills. I get it. Fewer ads. Parentheses. No programmatic. So I really don't know what that means. Digital archive access, which is that's going to be sick, Drill, because if you get archived to the old issues we are just talking about, I'm still telling you, man. Before game journalists and before the relationship of game journalists and game customers was so divisive, Game Informer was kind of top. Like, yeah, they had like a few off takes, but it's like I don't know if that game was an 8. I don't know if that game was an 8.5, maybe an 8. I don't know if that game was an 8, maybe a 7.5, but it's not like fucking IGN where Call of Duty Ghosts was a 9 out of 10. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the end of IGN.
Yeah. And so so the fact you get like the digital archives, that was sick. And then FYI. 5% of every subscription purchase goes to St. Jude's. So the print digital, you get all that, which costs 48 for the year for now. But once this sale promotion ends, which I don't know when it does, it might be in the fine print somewhere, which I'm not going to scroll through. Normally costs $70 a year. So like maybe like your first year, maybe your first year is 48 for the year, second year is 70. Well, digital only is for now $32 for the year, but normally 45. So it's not as much of a sale, but it's still noticeable. So if you're paying 40, $32, your subscription only goes up 15 bucks. Remember, this is for the year, which is, dude, if you even if you're like dipping your foot into it, $32 for the year, which eventually will be 45, is not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and the
might do
fact
that
that
because I got an iPad 11. So I might do the digital.
so um here's the thing though, Drill. So once again for prices, print and digital, 48 for the year, soon to be 70 for the year. Digital only, 32 for a year, soon to be 45. Here's one thing to note. As of right now, print is available to US based customers only. So FYI. Um, Couple talking points. For gamers, we have a simple goal: make gaming more fun, immersive, and engaging. A more premium magazine in print and digital formats, exclusive access to best games and creators, and daily reviews, interviews, news, videos, and more that you won't find anywhere else. Remember, Drell, they brought everyone back. They said from the start they brought everyone back. Bigger, better magazine. Get exclusive in-depth access to games and the culture around them, superior paper and cover stock, and 100 pages from cover to cover. Receive 10 issues each year, including a final special edition end of the year game, end of the year celebration issue. Exclusive digital access. Subscribers enjoy member-only features, interviews, like we said, behind the scenes access on our website with reduced ads. Read every issue digitally as it launches, and explore the full Game Informer magazine catalog of over 350 back issues of gaming history.
That's awesome.
Um,
Awesome.
Find some other notes here, Drill. Game Informer, has 34 years. So I don't know if that's 34 years, including their when they were in hiatus or GameStop cut them out, but it just says 34 years of excellence. Um, let me see here. But yeah, so I just like they have a at the bottom of the page drill frequently asked questions. First question: is Game Informer really back? Yes. Not only is the outlet you remember, not only is this the outlet you remember, but it's also the same people who worked here at the helm. Our coverage focus is the same, highlighting the best in gaming and the people who make and play them. But we hope you'll find an expanded scope and quality that is bigger and better than before. So, I'm rooting for him, Mandrill. I might get the print, dude. Like I said, I need to get
Nice.
out more. Let's just be real with the with the rate of literacy in this country. I need to fucking read more. People, I bought like I have like four books I got for $1. I got the Godfather book. I have the Jurassic Park novel. I have a Guillermo del Toro book. I haven't touched fucking any of them, but who knows? I think Game Informer might get my fat ass drill to pop it up on a Game of. I'm gonna pop open a Game Informer, go on my balcony and read it. So you know what, Joel?
There you
I'll say
go.
it. I'll say it right. In fact, I'll just stand my nuts right now. 48 for the year. I'm buying the print digital edition once we wrap this up. I'm buying it.
Boom.
I don't
That's
know.
fire, bro.
I don't know when the first one comes out, but you and I have been talking about Game Informer ever since it got announced. You know, we're part of it. Um, I don't read Kotaku. I don't read Polygon. Um, I inconsistently read some of these other like articles or like it sucks because like I forget what game drill you were looking for. I forget what game it was. Maybe it was a Valid or somebody else. You were looking for specifically for one person, either at IGN or someone else, to do the review on this game, and they got somebody else, and you were pissed about that. And that's what I'm saying. It's
Oh yeah,
like I
that's
forget what game it was,
right.
but you're like this isn't his lane. This other guy in
Right.
his channel constantly talks about it, constantly tweaks
You
about it.
were
Why
absolutely
the
right.
fuck did you not get this person? And that's what you're saying
Yeah.
of like you're like again, I don't know if there's money. I don't know if there's money. I don't know if there's favoritism. But you're like, why the fuck? It's like this is his lane. This is what he
Yeah.
does. And so it's like, so why didn't he get him? I don't fucking know.
I think it was
Um,
Ryan. I think Ryan McCaffrey wanted him to review Starfield, and they fucking chose somebody, some new
yeah,
fucking millennial, like Gen Z fuck. I don't know, some other guy. And I'm like, well, why the fuck would you do that? Yeah, yeah,
you can make your hair blue. The game's a 9 out of 10. So, but actually,
yeah.
Game Informer, we never had those problems. You know what I mean? And like I said, I want a consistent place where I can get my gaming news and reviews without doing all the bullshit. Like I still hate one word answers that become like a 7 page fucking read. Like there are literally articles titled "When will Snake Eater come out?" And I'm like, why the fuck are there like paragraphs?
Right. They give
It's
you
shit.
history and all this stuff, and
It's
then at the
un
end, it's like nobody knows. I'm like, okay, so this did need to exist.
or even if it doesn't, it's like a number, a slash, two numbers, slash, two more numbers. So that's how a fucking date works. 3 dash 25 dash 26. That's all I fucking need. Okay. I don't need your fucking, bloating your article of like, well, for the past 9 months, it's been rumored to blah, 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 blah. Rumors expect fall of next year. Go fuck yourself. Like I'm over it. No, I don't know. And I never got that bloat for Game Informer. So you know what? It's like, you and I have been talking about forever. And you know what? Like I said, like when I make a lot of my decisions, it's like I think about like the feeling of it or like the thought of it. And yeah, like I said, the thought of me writing Game Informer on my balcony on a summer day or a blizzard day, having my not having my porch light, my porch light, my balcony light on. That sounds like a good fucking night, dude.
Yeah, man. No, yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm glad you brought this up because, yeah, I mean, I'll probably do just because I want to reserve space. I'll definitely. I think I'm gonna do the digital. I'll probably do the digital next Friday. Yeah, because I got the iPad 11, and when the original digital, when the Game Informer was doing digital, I didn't have an iPad at that time, and like when I did use the iPad for the digital, I said, "Damn, this looks fucking dope." I was like, "I really like this." Well, I was like, "I don't know an iPad," So now that I do, I think I'm gonna just try to do the digital version. Yeah, because like you said, we sold these magazines. A part of the game card and all that shit back in the day for GameStop. So the Power Card and yeah, I've never had issues with Game Informer as far as for just like their reading stuff, like when it comes to their articles and whatnot, and then also obviously like the legendary like lists of just when the games actually come out, and then they update them frequently, when they need to be. So yeah, I mean, definitely this is like one of the best gaming nostalgias, and then it's just nice to read something from something that's not from a fucking AI or robot. Somebody wrote these articles. So
And
I'm happy to read that.
and Game Informer, like they have good qual like I said, they have good quality reviews. They do side missions. I still say, like I said, whatever company that hired that one chick to play Cyberpunk, but she never did the side missions because the side missions you help the cops. What is your fucking that's your fucking job, dude.
Yeah, that's GameSpot,
Like
which I don't read anymore.
like Jarrell, back in my day, we played the game. Like, can you imagine if this was like, let's say 15 years ago, where someone was playing Call of Duty 2 and they stopped playing the game after the no Russian mission? Yeah, I mean, well, I had to go to the airport and they traumatized me. I had to kill so many people. I don't like trigger myself. I have anxiety. It hasn't been diagnosed, but I have anxiety, and I just can't play this game anymore. Like that, like that's a like who the fuck? And I feel bad because like to your point about AI writers, but it's like, well, at least the AI would tell me what the no Russian mission was like and not fucking cry during the review. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
man.
I feel bad. It's a catch 22 because I forgot there's an episode where you and I were talking about the writer strike and how like AI is taking over, but we need people. But then like the next three major games that came out after that were just complete dog shit, and we're like, bro, this is what you're fighting for? Ah, man, like, dude, I don't know this. You can't. I don't know, man. It's like, man, hey, it's like, hey guys, we can't let AI rule our lives. We can't let AI pick the roster, and then like you just look at the Browns or the New York Jets, and you're like, I don't know, man. Maybe an algorithm should take over for that shit. I don't, I don't know. Really, four quarterbacks, Browns, and you draft three of them the same year? Really, really? You're gonna draft three quarterbacks in the same year? The Cleveland? Okay, maybe you should have Chat GPT help you with that one.
Oh man,
But
that's
but yeah.
hilarious.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so that's just my thoughts, Trell, that you won't get someone, tearing through a review or like, and they know that controversial bullshit, like, it's like, and that being said, if I'm wrong, Trell, I'll call them out like I did the rest. If they're like, well, we were gonna review Hogwarts Legacy 2, but someone sent us a Twitter of what someone said 20 years ago, and now we're not gonna review Hogwarts Legacy 2. If that shit happens, will call their customer service to cancel my subscription.
yeah,
That's just real. That's just facts.
yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah, because that's ridiculous. That's why I don't pay attention to Kind of Fun anymore because I'm like that has nothing to do with who developed it. I say you guys are just doing some corporate whatever fuck shit. Like I was like, fuck, like I'm not down with that. So yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, I'm on the same boat, But yeah, I'm happy for Game Informer, happy for them on this, and I will definitely be diving in to get some of this shite. So we'll be getting the digital on Friday. So yeah, man, I think that's gonna wrap it up here for the Game Podcast. Got a full episode here, a lot of news of games, which is great. It's always happy to see that. So until next time, Gamer Podcast again each and every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is Arthur Thomas.
That was me.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.